Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Mystery School. What's up, everybody?
What's happening, Tony? We are here again for another episode.
Yep, it's our first episode of 2016.
It is.
First time Mystery School over here. Brandon, say something.
What's up?
What's your last name?
Stahlman.
Brandon Stahlman.
Man of Steel. You can remember it like that.
Okay.
Stahlman. That's right.
Okay, I got it.
Stoked to be here. You guys have got some good players here in the past. Sounds like a blast, and really stoked to be here. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming.
Welcome.
We
got the return man, Chris Arnett here.
Yeah.
The guitar maestro.
I don't know about that, but
I'd say so.
got this might be my third show, fourth.
I think fourth because I listened to the most recent one and it was third.
Episode 26. Man, he was just. Did you
I'm
hear
catching
him
up
on there?
with Ryan, man.
He was just going at it.
I haven't even heard me on there.
Oh, you should.
I'm looking forward to it.
He never listens back.
Didn't
No,
you forget?
I do.
You forgot you even did it, right?
I kind of you guys forgot I even did it.
I forgot too. Yeah.
It's been so long. Man.
I mixed it a couple months later, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Chris came."
Well, what have we been doing all these months, Tony? In the new year,
We have been recording, me, you, and Chris.
we've been recording. We're working on at least some actual
At least some
songs,
songs,
structured
yeah.
tunes.
This has been like
And we also have a
6 months,
secret
right?
album.
You guys have been off the air for a while.
We've been off
I've been-
air since before about the holidays.
We've had banked up episodes that
Thanksgiving.
I've been putting out
Okay.
as I mix them, and we got one more coming out, and then this one.
Is the Ninja one coming out?
Yeah, talk to
that
me about that
We
ninja.
didn't really talk though.
Oh no,
No, that's just for fun.
Yeah, that's something we have semi-top
Yeah,
secret
you
in
should,
the works.
You should definitely talk about that, but you want to keep it under wraps.
Well, if it's ninja,
I'm
then
not sure.
a ninja
we don't
never
ever
speaks.
plan
it
anything
makes
here,
sense
so-
if it is Ninja.
But that's kind of some other thing we've been working on, right?
yeah, I guess we'll leave that as a mystery.
Yeah, we'll have to see
Mystery.
for now.
oh, a tease.
But we
is
may
what
have
did.
some sort of super secret Easter egg gem of a recorded song from the Mystery School here. So our time off air has at least we've been investing it into
Yeah,
creative
there's
tidbits.
some other music will eventually come out
Yeah.
that we recorded in this time.
But yeah, welcome. It's good to be back, man.
So Brandon, I've only met you a couple times, right? Two
Yeah,
times.
we
maybe?
met at the Mother Hips show in the fall.
And then I dragged the river. I saw you
Exactly,
again.
at Blue Lamp.
Did I see you one other time, or is that it?
It's possible. I remember those 2 times.
But you're friends with Chris,
Yeah,
and then Chris, I always knew he was playing music with somebody, and then one day I met you. And
I
it
was
you.
the other woman, the other proverbial woman.
Right
That's
on.
it.
The other
You know
garage.
everybody I play music with now, that I've ever in SAC at least.
Yeah.
It's always
Pretty
exciting
much.
to play with a new musician. I think almost every night on the Mystery School is at least somebody has met somebody for the first time.
Yeah.
So this is pretty cool.
Judging by when we were kind of sound checking in there, I am now thinking you're kind of a country kind of guy.
You know, I grew up in the Midwest, so you can't avoid it. Even
Uh-huh.
if I actually shied away from that, I ended up loving metal and all that stuff. But it's just on the radio; you can't avoid it. So Chris actually inspired me to get more twangy and play more major scales. So that was kind of
Wow.
cool because
I'd-
we started playing, and I heard his playing, and I thought, "Damn, I got to learn some of those scales because I've been ignoring them."
Yeah,
And it-
you said you didn't even play major scales.
Well,
at that, or
honestly, I was a blues guy. I learned
Yeah.
the pentatonic scale in high school and a shit. That was all. I had like short attention span and never learned anything else. So I just ended up playing the blues a lot and figuring out all the in-betweens, and was probably
Yeah.
playing a bunch of Metallica and metal and minor scales,
dude,
blah,
you
blah,
like,
blah. But now it felt like learning all that in-between major stuff was like re-exciting me about guitar. So that was really stoked. I was stoked to
Yeah, man.
get
you
back
took
into
to
it.
that stuff like really quick. I thought, man, because like, if what you say is true, no, like I was like, damn, dude, you already are nailing all this Almond Brothers stuff, and like,
Well, that's
you know,
it. I got a lot. That's the story of me as like pies or fingers in too many pies. I got all these interests, and one thing I want to learn is how the hell is Allman Brothers and Iron Maiden pulling off those harmonies. So I'm trying to decode
just those two.
overlap. Yeah, just those two, because those the only ones doing it right. Anyway,
I need to listen to Iron Maiden. I don't really know anything.
Well,
about,
it
I mean, I just
basically-
know them from the fair. Like I used to win those mirrors, like from throwing darts at balloons. You know?
Yeah,
Talking
well-
about like guitar harmonies, like
exactly.
like during
well,
the solos.
exactly. Thirds, fourths, fifths, and triads and stuff. And basically, it's the same shit. It's just whether you play it minor or major. And I never learned all those scales, but I'm finding out if you overlap a Mixolydian with the Ionian and all that shit. But honestly,
Look, I
if you
don't
got a
know.
good feel,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you know the scale in and out.
Yeah, I think it's ear. Like at this point, I think we've been playing long enough. Like I don't really like try to do all those.
Yeah, let's face it. I'm not going back and relearning those or learning
I'd
for the
like
first
to,
time.
But yeah, it's just not gonna. I mean, at this point in our lives, are we really gonna? I don't know.
But it's cool
think
because
so.
who
Yeah.
would associate those
It's
two
focused
bands?
practice to
But
it.
they're pulling off the same tricks.
Uh-huh.
And from a theory perspective, they're so close. It's like seriously a half step away from playing the same music, but Iron Maiden and Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing all these things connect once you re-inspired me to play country.
Iron Maiden, though, when they're like Allman Brothers are playing like the blues scale and whatnot, right?
They did a lot of major.
Well, yeah, a lot of major stuff too.
Yeah.
But what's
Like
Iron Maiden playing? Is it like the harmonic minor? What do they do?
Like basically pentatonic minor, and then you overlap all this shit I don't understand.
Uh-huh.
I bet you
It sounds
they're-
different whether you use Mixolydian or whatever, but the
They're doing
pentatonic.
modal stuff. I bet those guys. I mean, they seem like they're that kind of caliber of player. You know, that like really understands the modes and how they fit over progressions. And,
Yeah, it's above me, but
yeah.
the sound is what I've always dug. That twin guitar, there's nothing like it. You know what I mean?
And working
And,
together and harmony.
And even Ramblin' Man, the beginning of Ramblin' Man, Jesus. You know, it's
Yeah.
like once you hear that, you
Sick stuff.
can't unhear that. It's just amazing. It's sunk in you. That's always something I've wanted to learn. And but that's just one of many things. I don't know. Grew up on the Pixies and Living Color and
In Kansas,
Metal and
it was like that's interesting.
90s.
You were saying to me one time that like you felt like it was like behind everybody else, sort of like. Do you like? I don't know. It sounds like that's quite pretty cutting edge, like cool stuff that you were listening to. You know?
well, I had the older brother.
Yeah.
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 I had the demon brother downstairs with the posters, and I was, you know, you can't unknow that either. You know.
What was your favorite? What was your favorite poster that he had?
Oh, dude, actually, my favorite poster, it was not from my brother. It was from the guy that was even older than him across the street. The first time I ever saw Kiss. I was probably in kindergarten.
Oh, yeah.
And Kiss, probably Dynasty.
It's awesome how they blow your mind at age 5. Because they did the same thing to me, dude.
I think it was a Dynasty poster, which is
You don't
funny
even
in
have to
hindsight.
hear them. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. It's funny in hindsight that it was Dynasty because everyone makes fun of that album. It's the disco
Were
album.
they jumping off the like rock or something, or like?
Well, this one, it's just 4 faces, but it was
yeah.
late 70s. It was kind of disco inspired.
Yeah.
But still, it's those faces. And shit, man, once you see that, you're like, okay, the dark
yeah.
side, I think I like that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I remember kind of not hearing Kiss for a while, and then thinking like, this isn't as heavy as I thought it was going to
Totally.
be. You're like, I thought they were going to be like really heavy.
Kind of like
I know.
wankery, isn't it?
You hear- I mean, Love Gun rocks, but it's
Bubblegum
no
rock.
fucking Randy Rhoads.
I just
Dude.
thought it was going to be super heavy and dark and stuff. You know, like I was
What
like,
about
He's
Ace
got a kitty
Frehley's
cat
solo
face
song,
painted.
dude?
I mean, how hardcore can you be?
What's that Ace Frehley solo song like? New York, like something about New York, and it's like totally bubblegum pop, dude. You're like, this is Ace Frehley. What the fuck?
It was one he wrote in Kiss or like
No, it was
post-Kiss?
like a solo hit. That
Okay.
it was like a radio hit he had, and it's like something about like something to do with New York. I'm sorry,
Kiss was the band that tried the hardest out of anybody. They just like tried.
Dude,
Like,
they
please
just
like me.
they just
I'll write
fucking were-
whatever I can.
They looked
to
cool,
like
though.
me.
Dude,
Yeah.
I heard. and
Yeah,
it-
they did whatever it was.
Yeah.
It took to look cool, to be cool,
the gimmicky stuff.
gimmicky.
Yeah.
I saw this incredible little ESPN documentary online. It's Cadillac, Michigan, 1972, and the football team was sucking, and the coach was kind of like young guy or whatever, and he's like, I gotta inspire these kids. What are they into? And he figured out they were all into Kiss, so he takes fucking Kiss into the locker room, plays it because they're 0-4, and the team is looking at him like, dude, coach is kind of hit. And then they end up going undefeated for the rest of that year. And then he challenges them, I think the way the story goes. They go undefeated the next year. And he's like, if these guys keep winning, I got to do something awesome to reward them. So he contacts Kiss. He finds out their manager.
Whoa.
Because they're from Detroit. And this is like suburb Detroit. Kalamazoo it's actually Cadillac, the town. And dude, they go undefeated, and he gets Kiss to come to the town and like come to the homecoming, and they come in a helicopter. It's like it's
pretty
insane,
badass.
dude.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it.
This is a documentary, or
It was a little short done by ESPN because it's such
okay.
a cool story.
nice.
And they're on a football field in their fucking 8-inch spikes, throwing passes and stuff. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Gene Simmons almost falls in love with the cheerleader, and his dad steps in.
Dude,
It's-
you know he
it's
tapped
like-
that.
He's like, the quote is
How
something
can you
like,
resist?
I think I want to take you home. And then his dad, who's of course the sheriff, is like, not on my dead body.
Awesome.
And then they get on a helicopter and fly away, and she's like, oh.
Oh man, I don't know.
Dude.
Did ESPN just throw that in there for like rating?
They faked some good footage if that's not true, man.
There's a lot of footage that's what you're watching.
Have
huh?
you seen that?
No.
I
Oh,
want to
it's-
see it,
it's-
dude.
It's
for sure.
unbelievable.
What's it called?
Well, just Google Cadillac, Michigan Kiss.
Oh,
It's
okay.
totally there.
Yeah. Okay.
And if it's on the internet, it's real.
Yeah.
It's got to be, yeah. Dude, I actually remember when I was probably like that age. What you were saying, like 5 or 6 or something. Like I actually tried it. I lived in Reno at the time, and like so I was at Circus one day. There's like this, the arcade. Your parents basically just drop you off at the arcade, and you gotta fucking try to, they give you $5, and like you blow through that in like 10 minutes, and then you're just sitting around, whatever, in this arcade.
Right.
You end up wandering the slot machine halls or whatever
Yeah.
at the end of the day. But anyway, at Circus they had like this clown painter, like you used to get your face painted like a clown when you were,
He's like a
which is kind of
dysfunctional artist, and
kinda
now we got a
scary,
day
yeah.
job.
probably like a bad head. I don't know. But anyway, I just remember like really wanting the dude to like paint me like I believe it was Paul Stanley, which was pretty like weak.
Oh, Starman.
Yeah, I don't really like him. But like, man, what was I thinking back
You
then?
were by yourself with no
Star
money.
symbol.
I know I had I could not afford it. No,
And he
I
looked
blew
up to
my
the
$5
heavens.
on the camel races, dude.
Were you thinking that you wished you would have saved your money?
Fuck yeah, dude. Of course. I wish I would like.
Later, he was like, Catman.
not think
It's
this one
obvious. It
through,
should have
man.
been Catman.
I could have been walking around with as Starman in Circus.
Probably wouldn't have got kicked out.
Totally. I could have
Dude.
probably passed down in the
Dude,
slot machines. They
If
would
you'd
have
done
like,
Catman,
"Whoa."
they would have let you gamble.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
just
for
like
sure.
so cool.
You never know how old cats are.
It's true.
Don't, man.
You never
deceiving.
ID a cat.
Nah.
So what happened? You just walked around and nobody hassled you and you left?
No, they actually kicked me out of the casino.
Oh,
like
okay.
if you you didn't get far down there.
If you didn't want to draw more attention to yourself,
yeah.
you just go
You
ahead
had your spike
Do your
heels
face
on, right?
paint.
If you had the kids face paint, who knows? They might have let you slide.
Back in those days, dude, my parents were like still inside gambling, like for like a long time, and I'm just kicking it out on the street in Reno, like at age 6.
You're like
It's
hanging out with hookers and
You would never see that.
Did
Today,
they
man.
even know you were out there?
I don't think they knew. No, I think they thought I was upstairs. Like kind of crazy.
It's like
Like
the early
I don't know
form
how.
of
like
iPads. They couldn't
how
take
did
their
we
eyes
survive?
off the
I was just
machines.
I was just asking, like, how the hell did we survive?
It takes a
childhood in
village
the
to raise a
80s?
kid. You know,
Not
The whole
everybody-
community kinda
even if
raises
it's
a kid,
Reno.
you know?
Not everybody did survive. That's probably the
No,
thing.
yeah. There are some casualties along the way.
But most people did.
Dude,
Yeah.
I think so many dads were just drunk driving on family road trips. Like people survived. People just had beers.
Standing up
hanging
in the
out.
back.
People
no
had like
seatbelts.
El Caminos, and like kids were just like, there was like 10 kids in the back of an El Camino back then. Nobody died. It's
The
crazy.
kids are passing forward beers.
They're totally.
Give me another one, son.
little shit.
Oh, man.
Where's that bottle opener?
Good times. Yeah.
So what music? What kind of stuff have you been playing lately? Yeah, are you still doing the
Lately,
country stuff? Like last couple weeks.
last couple weeks. Okay, I saw Sabbath, which totally.
San Jose.
Yeah, I did go. It was kind of spur of the moment, way too expensive, but fucking, I never forget it. I mean, you're going for
Think-
the legacy. It was awesome.
They're breaking up now, right?
They're done.
it's
I
over,
I think they're
right?
calling it.
Last-
They're calling
last
it.
tour.
I think Iomi's like maybe like ill or something. Is that how you say his
My
name?
brother barely
Yes,
saw him
Iommi, I
because
think.
Ozzy missed a
Tony
couple
Iommi.
dates and he caught them in Montreal, but he's missing like a third of the shows on this tour. Ozzy is. He's got
Ozzy
sinusitis.
is?
Yeah.
They're bringing in Dio.
Yeah, they should bring in Dio.
That would be
That'd be
bomb.
badass.
He
Hell
died
yeah.
though.
From the
unfortunately.
grave. No, children of the
R.I.P.
They're
grave.
gonna do
Dio.
his hologram like
They can bring back
with
Dio.
They could
on
do that.
Sabbath.
Yeah, come
They
on.
could do that.
I'm talking about Black Sabbath.
Exactly. So that was okay. That's very recent. I'm getting back into my old riffs. I mean, that's where it all starts, riffage wise. But lately, I got Queens of the Stone Age in the car. I bought this hilarious new country album. It's actually a stand-up comedian that hired killer Nashville players, and he's like a hot shit Nashville producer right now.
I heard of that. Who is that?
His name is Wheeler Walker Jr. It's outrageous,
You told me about
dude.
that.
It's outrageous. I mean, it's the most non-PC comedy is fucking hilarious. And what helps is the music is dynamite. I mean, these are like slick players, and it's well produced. The guy paid for it all himself, and it's worth checking it out. But definitely not suitable for work.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. That might promote healing, like in your line of work. You're in the healing business. So.
Basically, he's taking the piss. He's taking a satire on, south of the Mason-Dixon line kind of shit. But he's from Kentucky, so he's kind of owning where he's from, but also like kind of taking the piss at redneck humor, but also loving outlaw country at the same time. It's an interesting combo. But music-wise,
He's like a Jeff Foxworthy meets Hank Williams.
Yeah, it's highbrow Foxworthy. It's totally highbrow Foxworthy. Anyway,
That's good.
Yeah. That's
yeah,
cool.
but just
So what's your favorite shit to jam on, like when you're playing?
dude, probably Neil. Just
Neil
loud Neil
Diamond?
Young chord. Yeah. Yeah, I get out my
Yeah,
sequence.
man.
I definitely-
Solitary, man. Crackling Rose, maybe.
Absolutely. Little Crackling Rose, never heard no one.
So we're gonna have some wardrobe.
Yeah,
Breaks
we'll have to.
Where are your rhinestones at,
We'll have
man?
to pause the podcast while I
Yeah.
do my changes.
Okay.
That's cool. I was wondering what that garment bag was.
It was that like that sweet briefcase he brought.
You thought
man.
that was a guitar in there. No, I got news for you.
That's his leisure suit.
Yeah, we'll see if any singing gets done, but something will come out of my mouth probably.
So
Usually
do you
does.
like the elaborate then with the Kiss, like theatrical
Oh
art
man.
music, like kind of?
Well, that's.
It's not just the tunes. It's like
Oh yeah,
more
yeah. I
theatrical.
went to art school and I'm a visual artist, and that's kind of what I mean by I got fingers in all these pies. Basically, I don't have a lot of gear because my money gets spent on other stuff sometimes, art supplies and blah blah blah. But yeah, I'm kind of like short attention span with creative stuff, but that's the way I like it. I kind of ebb and flow between musical projects and mostly two-dimensional, like drawings, printmaking, woodcut, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, cool.
But right now I'm in a super musical phase, and
what's your favorite stuff to listen to while you draw or do your art?
I take my daughter to the library and I get like 20 CDs of all kinds of random stuff. Sometimes I feel like with the internet and all this niche music, it's hard to get in touch with everybody's little niche. It's not
You're
like,
checking out CDs at the library?
dude, are you kidding me?
You're going back to the.
You never heard of like
badass.
Spotify?
Yeah.
Spotify's
Digging
too
your
I
jumpy,
mean, I
man. Like,
respect it. I respect that, but I'm just like, wow, I haven't
It's-
heard that in a while.
Digging
It's
CDs
kinda-
is fun.
I love it because you actually get an album and you listen to 15 songs in a row by the same
And you
band.
do get
know?
to see the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally.
It's
you get to hold
physical.
the art
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
You actually went to the library too, which is also cool.
I know. Like,
Does
when's
it-
the last time you went to a bank or something?
Is it free
Fucking
to rent
libraries
out
are
that many
cool.
CDs? You can get
Dude,
20
you
at
can
a time.
get 30.
You can get 30,
It's a freaking stack that you can't even
and
carry.
that's free.
And they're like new releases.
And that's free though. Or do
Yeah.
you gotta pay for.
No, libraries charge now.
I don't know. I never
If you
didn't
don't
even know they
return
had
it on time,
CDs.
yeah.
But if you were late, like a couple weeks late on all those
Oh,
CDs,
it's chump change. It's like,
It's like
Oh,
50
really?
cents or something.
and
Oh,
then
okay.
if you like smile at the
Delete.
girl, she's like, delete. No
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, that's cool.
And you can call in and extend your holdings too.
Oh, you've been to
So-
a library.
Oh yeah.
I think
know
I've been to the
system.
library like
This man
5
speaks
times.
from experience.
You can extend your.
I mean, I know how a school
renewal
library
date,
works.
your
I haven't
return
been
date.
to I haven't been to a library around here, man. Like, is there like? It seems like Sacramento would have a cool one.
Roseville has a library.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool
Yeah.
looking.
Is it in the old part?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like these.
There's one right off
Big
Taylor,
old
like
wood
behind
buildings.
Taylor, like
I can dig that.
There's an old guy with like a
Rockland
quill
area.
pen and some ink, and Slowly writing his tome.
Yeah.
Do you
I
know
don't know.
the Dewey Decimal System?
I'm
feel
old
like-
enough to know that.
I feel like they get $0.
Brought
You
your
know, like
abacus.
I'm just impressed that libraries exist. You know, it's
They
like
must not get any money, really.
I don't think they do, man.
I think that no, they're like paid
Dude, we
for by
can
the
thank
city, I
Obama
guess.
for the libraries. They're still alive.
Yeah. Do you ever meet an adult that like still says library? Like, isn't that? It's just like, oh man, really?
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, there's
Libraries.
more than a few.
Like
dude.
I want to taste the library.
It
sounds like
deceiving. Like it sounds
an
like
ice
it's gonna
cream
be
flavor
good, but
you
it's
get in
delicious.
Hungary,
So then when
you
you
know?
eat it, it tastes like shit. It's a library, right? It
Then
doesn't
you
tell you
feel
the
bad.
truth. It's bullshit.
You're like, oh.
Now we don't library at home.
Well,
Sorry.
What, so
now that you've got rid of a few of our listeners,
I got rid of half of them, I think, man.
I'd rather them tune out than complain.
Oh, they're still listening at this point. Uh-oh.
Sorry about that, Tony.
it's just the library thing.
The library. Like
They're
singles
like,
about.
what? You don't pronounce it library? I thought he was saying it wrong. Calling it the library.
Chris,
man.
you're so wordist.
I know,
God.
man. I'm an elitist.
Yeah,
I'm a
let's
wordist.
let's play some music, I guess. Ready?
What do we?
Oh, yeah,
what
let's
kind
do
of
it.
music are we gonna play? What are we feeling?
I don't
tonight?
even know. It's
I'm
just
hearing the
it's
rockin'
gonna be
vibe.
random.
I like that rockin' vibe.
Well,
like,
we got our blues out on
Well,
soundcheck.
I feel like
we got that out.
I feel like Brandon's kind of a closet like surf dude.
Oh,
Like, which is crazy because
It's true.
he can be
I love
country,
surf.
but he always throws in like these surfy things.
Okay,
so
good.
there's going to
I
be
heard
some of
that.
that, I think.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
let's
get
do
the
it.
boots all reverbed out in there.
Oh, yeah. We'll vibe it.
All right.
love to buy you a present, but then I changed my mind. It was gonna be a magnet of the Grand Canyon. You then I saw you in the rearview mirror. I saw you in my head. Every night in the bathtub or in the shower too. I couldn't stop seeing dirty images of you. You were covered in blood. I had to stop myself from thinking about the old days, something like heaven or hell. And I don't remember when, and I'll never remember how. But you need to quit it, and I suggest you stop it right the fuck now.
All right, welcome back. Post jam, we were cut short a little early.
What's up, guys? Yeah.
We
By
got
the
a,
men in blue.
we got a noise violation or disturbing the peace. I don't know what it said, but
Yeah.
we don't have to pay any money.
Thankfully.
But
I thought you were
promoting
going to have
peace
to
and
pay.
music.
But we got like a warning on paper.
We were warned we should be inside our house watching TV at a moderate volume.
We should be
and not
watching Jeopardy
making
at this
art
hour.
and communicating.
Not specifically that.
Maybe no, that's too late for Jeopardy, but I mean, what did they
Right.
want us to? I mean,
They want us to watch TV.
they want us to watch the debate, maybe.
Quiet down, everybody. You know, stop interacting and having fun. If your neighbor bugs you, tattle on him. Put him in a
Yeah.
box.
It's the first time.
Disband the coffee shops. Can't have conversations.
Is it too early
No.
in the year? Do we have to wait till? Like, I mean,
We're
maybe
gonna
like
start editing our sentences.
I don't know what it is. We just happened today. I've got another
First
complaint
time.
one day randomly.
but
just
not
sometimes
two
it
in
happens.
one day.
Weird.
Did you keep playing after?
No, we
the
quit
complaint?
that time because we got it at the end. But
No. They
this
nipped
time
it
we
in
got
the bud.
we got an early noise complaint, and then we kept playing, or we actually took a break and talked for a while and ate some food, and then we played again like an hour after the complaint. Then we got a complaint. What, about 45 minutes in?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was long. We got about a 45-minute jam.
There was a
It's
guitar
actually-
change. There was enough to get some jams in.
It was actually like it's kind of amazing that we haven't gotten more complaints because it's kind of like it just goes with the territory of jamming in a garage.
Yeah,
Like you're gonna get complaints usually.
I'm used to it. I've been getting them at every house I lived at. my whole
Yeah.
life. Except we had one house with the basement, and you could play music in the basement, and it just like wouldn't leave the property.
That's so cool.
Just with like, you could hear it in the house really loud, but it wasn't bad outside of the property.
We should just dig a hole in your yard and cover it up.
Yeah, I'm down. If you want to start coming over after work,
Digging.
get
Shovels.
digging.
Donate your shovels
All right,
to the
man.
Mystery School
Hey,
podcast.
I hear it's excellent exercise. I don't know.
Yeah,
It'd all be like Conan at the end of this thing.
it's gonna get pretty rough when we start getting deep.
Well, hey, the fuzz ain't gonna bring us down tonight. That was a good jam. I had a good
Yeah,
time.
that was cool.
I know we tried to keep it consciously mellow.
That's
Yeah,
the funny
we did
part.
mellow it
we
out.
actually tried to be consciously mellow.
Maybe we were
knew
trying
we
to.
were
We should have
pushing.
been trying to be quiet.
We probably should have just
We were just mellow, not quiet. And inevitably got
We were
to it.
quiet at first, but we did
Hey
get
guys,
loud.
you want to do something experimental?
We
Okay.
should have just done. We should have just like switched it up to spoken word, and then we would have been fine.
We still have time.
That complaint probably came in.
Djembe.
The complaint was probably pretty. Must have been like 15, 20 minutes.
They
before
probably
we came,
heard
right?
us like right as soon as they heard us start again. They probably complained again. I think, and it took
What
the
show were
comments.
we
That was
interrupting?
mother-
What do you think they were watching?
The Republican debate.
The
Little
police
Well, you
don't
said
show
there's a
up that
Kings game
fast.
tonight
And
too.
there might have been a Kings game on, but who knows? They suck.
I
Nobody
bet you it
cares
takes
about
them
right
30
now.
minutes to get here.
But
So
there were people outside being rowdy and having a good time, and we weren't calling on them. They should be outdoors and
I feel like
How-
maybe
who are we to call them?
Who are we to call? Yeah.
Well, we're making a ton of noise, but
the
yeah,
neighborhood
not at all.
might be only like
Well, yeah,
able
if
to.
people are making noise, make more noise. Don't complain about it.
Yeah.
I mean, or just go and deal with it for an hour or two. What's it ruining your day? Like, you can't listen to music for an hour.
I know.
Like, come on, man. God, those kind of people, they freaking piss me off. The informer, get on the phone. Let the informer call 911.
Totally, man.
Fuck that shit.
We need to have the new Supreme Court put an amendment in for fucking jamming. Jamming at all times is okay.
if we actually knew like a
Please,
decibel
Obama?
level that we could be at, we could stay within it.
We
you
could
know?
monitor
But there's
that.
there's no like. Apparently in Roseville, it's just if somebody calls and complains that
It's a
we're like,
free-for-all.
bothering them, then they stop you. So
That's
you don't. I
amazing.
guess we don't know really how loud we can be.
And it can be at
And there's
any
there's
time.
no time apparently on it. It's not like 10
So
o'clock.
why don't you next time somebody's like mowing their lawn that's in 8 in the morning or
I have
weed
experience
whacking.
with that though. Even if there were a decibel limit law, it comes down to your word against the cops because they had the machine and they say they read it, but you can't see it.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, if there was a decibel limit, we knew we could stay within. We could figure out what it was. And be
Before we entered the door, we could take breathalyzer tests and do a decibel test to make sure we had our inside voices. You know?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But
It's
we
the
were too
bummer.
loud.
We were too loud for
That's the
somebody.
moral of the story, guys.
This is like an Aesop's fable.
So
right
sorry
here.
about we didn't give you the 3-hour super jam. But
Yeah, we
sometimes
usually-
shorter
So, yeah.
is sweeter.
If people want to know how loud we were, I had 100-watt bass amp. You guys had 22-watt
22.
Fender Deluxes. So there's
Yeah.
two
I
22-watt
was on-
Fender Deluxes.
probably 2
Chris is on 2. What were you
on
on?
my amp.
3.5.
3.5. And Dustin's playing the drums.
I was playing level 4 volume.
Oh,
maybe
level
4
4.
volume.
You went to DEFCON 4.
Yeah, it was about DEFCON 4.
And we were in a garage with a lot of carpet and insulation and whatnot. But we do have that thin garage door,
Yeah,
Part of
slightly
Rome.
cracked for the snake to wire out.
slightly cracked for the snake.
We were playing some blues and country.
It wasn't anything
Oh,
too
that's true.
It
crazy.
wasn't too offensive.
It's not too sealed off though. I mean,
No.
It's funny that you have to mention the type of music we were playing.
I think so, because if they were going well, you guys do death metal podcast
Well,
every week, man,
You're
right? That'd
talking
probably-
about the music that they've just listened to,
that's right.
Yeah.
so they
exactly.
know what kind of music it was. You don't
Well,
have to say.
I'm furthering our case of hey, yeah, guys, right? You heard it. We were just playing that kind of shit, right?
Maybe they didn't like it
Just
when
country
we
fucking
played a
blues.
sour note or
Right?
something.
Just to be clear, let's classify what we played.
Yeah.
Maybe it was when we played a sour note,
writing
they're
out
just
warnings and shit.
oh, like they had perfect
yeah.
pitch or
Do you think-
something.
Like
Yes.
in the Middle Ages when they banned certain notes. Oh, that's dissonant. That's evil. You guys went there.
It's probably Steve, Mia's dad.
Steve is like, God damn it, those guys. I can't take it anymore." Nah, man.
Steve Stizzo is a podcast alumni member. Been on a few times, 3, 4. Lives across the street.
I don't think
He
it
must
was
have called the
Steve.
police.
I don't think it was.
This is a practical joke tonight.
Yeah, he's
He
like,
just
you know what
punked
this
us."
podcast needs? Some drama.
There you go.
We call the cops on him.
Oh yeah, the hits will just skyrocket.
Tony, you were speaking with the Roseville police officers. They seemed
I
pretty
don't-
polite.
I only talked to the first guy, and he was very cool, very polite. He did compliment the music. He said he thought it sounded good. The second guy Mia talked to said wasn't so polite.
He was pissed.
So
We
It's
were
a
delivered
gamble.
the ticket by your son, Van.
yeah, Van just pops it through the window like, neighbors say it's too loud.
It kind of went through this crack in the door, actually. At the top of the door, this pink ticket,
pink
all of a
slip.
sudden, like,
Pops
was
through.
ex-
Yeah,
like,
we were served.
it was dispensed
Yeah,
He's kicking
to
the
us
door.
like a pack of M&Ms or something.
Neighbor said you're too loud.
Pack of M's we didn't
It was pretty
buy.
classic, actually. I remember looking over and be like, "Oh, what is that? Oh,
That's
shit.
literally a pink slip.
Yeah.
We got a citation." It's like being back in 3rd grade.
That looks like illegal carbon paper.
The way that it came out was awesome, though.
Triplicate.
I can't even read
You
what,
can't read
what
it
it
anymore. Yeah,
says.
it's the
Yeah.
last copy too.
You can't even read the thing. It's like, I think we were too loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that won't hold up in a court of law.
I'm surprised that they didn't just issue it to us, they're just like, here you go.
You gave it to Van.
Hey, can you give it to your child to give it to? Like, what the fuck?
So
Come on, guys.
we take this real seriously. Can you give this to these guys?
I thought maybe they
Give us to your dad.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I thought one of us at least could have been thrown up against a hood or something. I don't know.
Well, that's what Steve would want for the drama.
Yeah, that would have been pretty exciting. But oh well.
Wow. Well, you shouldn't play so offensively, Chris.
I'm sorry, man. Sometimes I just
If you think about it, the first time we get the cops called because of you.
Ooh, I was going
Stahlman.
with that broken phone
The
jinx
fuzz.
theory over
They're
there.
already.
Yeah. He's like, don't put this on me, man.
They've been trailing you, looking for a reason to
Oh,
get
they've
you.
been following me for 30 years, hanging out from the Midwest.
That old
Outlaw.
That was like
noise complaint
Hazard
94.
County.
I knew he was up to no good.
Yeah, the habitual noisemaker.
He probably went out to California, land of fruits and nuts.
He's been known to cross a 200 decibel limit.
Oh man.
He's been so loud we couldn't hear sonic booms happening.
Yeah, Roseville PD, we got to run away. Can you help us out with your jurisdiction?
Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, hey,
Well,
what a way to start the year, huh?
yeah,
That was
that's the
fun.
first one of the year, right?
First one all time.
Cops involved.
We
I
made it
dedicate that permit to David Bowie.
28
That little pink
episodes.
slip.
Yeah,
That's what I'm gonna do.
there's some pink in his in his
His,
you
like,
know,
eye blush?
Ziggy Stardust eye blush. I can see that. Yeah,
Huh.
he would be happy, I think.
But the man held us down.
I mean,
All right.
not that. He just
Full circle.
We
It's like
defied the
Starman
man
back to
for a
Reno.
minute. You know,
Yeah,
we
that's true.
played
We-
anyway.
We
even
got
though
the warning and we hedged our bets.
We got
and
the
we're
first
like,
one.
all right, we're gonna go for it again. We can at least get 45 minutes in. 20 minutes tops once they call. They can't make it here in 20 minutes.
I mean, they
At least
actually
get 20
respond
minutes.
pretty quick for
Well,
noise violations.
Should we test and
They've-
call?
yeah, maybe there's not a lot of
There's
crime
a lot of
happening
murders going
tonight.
on right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thursday night.
All right. Let's we can move on past the noise complaint. I am curious about
Get enough info.
well
Want to hear about what else
Let's
we just
see.
played?
well Brandon,
Yes.
do you have any other noise complaint experiences? Have you ever got any in your
I-
days of playing in garages?
Matter of fact, year 2000, dance party, James Brown, being played on repeat.
was it Sex Machine?
What else
Super
can I
freaking
play?
it.
Like,
It had to have been Sex
give us
Machine.
some air. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too funky in here.
Count
was
it off.
definitely rolling when the cops rolled up.
All right.
It's
Too funky in here.
funky
Let's playing
in
as the
here.
cops. I love
All right, Chris, you got a noise complaint?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I think I used to play in a garage kind of like yours, but way less insulated, and we were pretty loud. So we got the cops quite often. There was like definitely a few neighbors that hated our music or something, you know, or just had it out for us. We were like in Chico too, like in kind of a college town. So, but yeah, we would, and we never, we would actually, I think we would actually play a little bit later. So that's probably what did it. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I
Dustin?
think it just goes without saying.
Noise complaints?
Yeah, probably early Torque days. We were 12 practicing.
That's it?
That's it.
Since you were 12?
That was the probably.
Pretty
That
good
was the
track.
last
That's a
noise
good
complaint?
record.
Yeah,
no wonder you're
Definitely.
beat up about this.
pretty ticked off.
No wonder you couldn't handle it. I've had a noise
that-
complaint at every house I've ever lived in except the one with the basement.
I don't even know if I had a citation at 12.
Well,
let alone
see, this-
noise complaints.
We were by at Jeremy's. We lived by a lake, and we would like people would be out by the lake, and we'd open up the sliding glass door, and we'd like try to do a performance for them. And like we lived in a gated community, so like the cops wouldn't really get called. The security guards would get called.
Okay.
And so they would come and knock on the door, and like no parents would be home, and we'd like go and hop over the deck and go hide under the house, you know, until they like went away, and they'd go away, and we'd go and play
Man.
again. And then they come and they'd knock and we'd go hide.
That's it.
Cat and mouse.
Pretty much.
Security guards, man.
Would you hide under the house?
Under the house.
And they
yeah.
wouldn't even, I'm sure they're not even going to go into the house.
That's
either.
hilarious.
No.
You probably knew his name and he knew yours. It was just like
He knows a lot.
How
number of the
nerdy was
parents'
this security
names.
guard? I mean,
I don't remember, but they were pretty.
were they menacing or were they like geeky?
No, they were just like,
Like-
hey guys, how's it going?
overweight and tucked in pants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were all pretty nice.
like
Nice guards.
the Chris
Well,
Farley version. Of
We used to like call the guards on ourselves, so we would like go down on the golf course and we would like make a bunch of noise and like start shit, and then we would go to the payphone and we would prank call the guard gate, and there's a bunch of kids down here making racket by the first gate golful, and then we'd wait for them to show up. We would like be in the bushes, just like darting
That's
around.
amazing.
And we'd
Create your own
go
drama.
run from the guards.
You can call on yourself.
call
Get the night going.
This is a Wednesday night. It's not exciting enough. Let's
Yeah.
call them.
I don't want to vandalize anything too bad, but let's just call the
Just
guards.
call the guards, and we'll make a bunch of noise and call on ourselves. We were adrenaline junkies, I guess.
I don't know, man. It could be fun to run from the cops. Did you guys ever? Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, do you have memories of running from the police when you were like a young guy? Like,
Can't talk about it on the record.
I mean, it's after 7 years. I think you're good.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're safe.
we're all old enough now.
The names and locations have been changed. No, I had a pretty crazy cousin who was definitely into vandalism. So every Christmas was quite an adventure.
What were you guys vandalizing?
Oh, dude, I was basically an accomplice because I was just there with my skateboard and he would go nuts.
Was he like knocking over gravestones or like what's? The
I love you want the details. You're a good reporter.
Was he like ripping toilets off the wall?
with a pinky. So strong. No, he would take Mercedes-Benz logos off cars. He would fuck up their
I used,
antennas. He went to remember those old drive-up
that was a hot
banks?
commodity, man.
Yeah, that was definitely.
Mercedes-Benz logos.
Would you steal chromies?
I had one.
We would go
I
to the
didn't
drive
steal
up
it, but if somebody,
Here's your
I think
Flavor
I traded
Flav
like a
necklace.
baseball card for it or something. I don't know.
Christmas lights break pretty good when they're in the street.
yeah.
Also, the bank drive-up window, he'd like break into the little deposit thing and take the paperweight thing where you put your checks and rub it on the ground until the rocks came out, and then we'd leave.
Damn, dude.
Creative carnage right there.
I know.
How do you
He's
think of that?
vandalizing a bank, not for the money.
While I was working on my ollie, he
Dude,
was like,
it sounds like your cousin. It might be like a sociopath. I don't know. What's he like now? Does he like
he's a good guy. He's
work
a
for a
good guy.
bank or
Back
something?
then, just had a tinge of guilt talking
Okay.
about it. I was like, yeah, man, he's a good guy.
You got over
like putting firecrackers in cats'
are crazy.
asses. And he's a pretty good guy.
That's
now,
evil.
though.
He got over all that stuff probably.
Yeah, he was working out some stuff,
That's
Let's go to the
awesome.
bank.
Yeah, I mean he didn't at least rob the place.
No, it was just a boring Christmas break, closed holiday. You got to go ruin something.
That's what he taught you.
Trickle down.
It's our family motto. He's got a cousin who taught him.
Wow, keeping it alive. Well, guys,
I guess that's probably it.
another successful night. What'd you think of your first timer?
That was a blast. Man, it will live again. I hate to bring the bad mojo here, but
It wasn't you, man.
It was Chris. Yeah,
It was me. I'm
we
having
Chris
a
is
bad
one
day.
with the bad luck.
yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah, man. How did you? I mean, what would? Obviously, you had some expectations or maybe like some premonitions coming into it. Like, what did you? Everybody does on their first time. It's kind of nerve-wracking, really. I think we're.
Last couple weeks, I listened to some episodes, and you guys are mellow. Everybody cuts loose and just gets creative, and that's what I'm good at. So it's all about the environment.
Yeah.
I won't describe the mystery school because we got to keep it a mystery, of course, but very creative environment, conducive to just being yourself and letting the energy flow. It's good.
It's kind of crazy, it's kind of like jazz music in a way, like not like that we play jazz, but like where we just kind of have to like everybody has to fit in together, like and
Yeah,
just
well,
kinda
it's
like,
improvised.
It's all improvising, yeah.
At
which
least
is,
tonight it was all. I didn't write it. I was thinking about writing stuff out, but I didn't. We
yeah,
haven't
I
been
was
lately.
surprised by that. Yeah.
I don't know. How do you
we
think
don't
what do you-
always go ahead?
Do you think it goes better or worse when we write it down and go with it? What do you?
I don't feel like we ever really follow.
Sometimes we'll play some of the chord progressions, I guess.
Yeah. people, it's nice to have if you have like some sort of like, I don't know, moment where nobody has an idea or something. But
I like
like
the
as
full
a-
improv approach.
like a safety net maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
If anybody's listening to this, go on Twitter or whatever, contact us, let us know your opinion.
Yeah. And if you want to come on,
If
come on the
anybody,
show.
if anybody
You
hears
don't
this,
even have to be human.
An Autobot response, right?
less
Please
improv.
troll us.
It'd actually be a lot more interesting if you
Yeah.
weren't.
26 episodes posted and not one response.
Oh, you know what? We've had some responses. We've had no comments.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we've had maybe a few personal responses, but comments.
On what platform?
Very lacking.
Twitter?
Twitter, yeah, has gotten
I think my mom might have
a few
responded
comments.
once.
I don't know.
Like, go, Chris.
Pretty much a mystery to most people.
So today on Twitter, on our mystery school one, I put. I was asking anybody if they had any questions for tonight, and while we didn't get any questions, we got 2 likes.
Whoa! So they were
Hey.
thinking about asking a question.
So somebody at least thought the idea of asking a question was.
So Brandon, if
Good.
you were one of those 2 people, what question were you gonna email in?
You know, I would ask, how do I get invited to the Mystery School podcast?
What would we say, Tony?
I guess you just gotta contact me, and if you can make it here, and you hit me up on Twitter or email.
Yeah, and if you can make it out to the Roseville area near Sacramento, California,
It's a possibility. Yeah.
we're very open. Like we said, we meet a new person every night, whether a friend of a friend, where there's always a new meeting. So it'd be cool to meet complete strangers. What about you, Chris?
What would I ask? If,
Yeah, you're the second person that liked it.
Obviously, that was me.
It had to be
actually.
2 of the 4 of us.
That
We're
was
the
actually
culprits.
one of those was me, Tony. I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah. Well, your Twitter handle doesn't represent
No.
you.
So hypothetically,
Nah, I don't have a Twitter account actually, so it definitely wasn't me. But let's see. What would I ask about? Huh.
You're so jaded. You can't remember when you were naive.
Yeah, I know. It's just like I might just want to know what like. Well, I guess people know what like you guys look like, right? Have they seen?
I don't know. I doubt it.
I thought there was some visual like stuff.
Not
at
really.
one
I think
point.
there was one post of the number 13
I think I'd be curious about that.
played
you
on
know?
the mystery school.
And I don't, it's just one of those things where you
Want
like
to pry into the illusion?
it's kind of like when you're about to play here, like Brandon was talking about earlier, where you're like, what is this place going to be like? You have all these like, because all you have done is heard the music, so and heard the voices, but you have no clue like what the studio is like or any of that. Like I'd be curious, to see, like, I don't know what you guys look like.
Should Rush Limbaugh ever have been seen? I don't
Maybe
know.
not.
Rush Limbaugh,
Sometimes
probably
radio,
not.
yeah,
I
you
know
just wanna
when
hear that
on
and
American
picture them in
Graffiti
your
when they
brain.
saw Wolfman Jack, that was pretty.
It was
startling.
Pretty
disappointing.
astonishing, huh? 'Cause I'd
He
like
looked
that, having
really
an image of
70s-y.
somebody in your head.
Like
that you
really
listen to.
70s looking Wolfman, even though he's supposed to be in the 50s, but it was filmed in the 70s. So
We talked about doing like pictures of like each in the guest of the night, and posting that as the image, but we were just never planned anything enough to do it.
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, what do you
that's
think?
one
Is it
person
that-
asking to want to see.
You got a good thing going with the mystery, though.
but
Honestly,
we-
like,
It is
kept
the
the mystery
mystery, I
alive.
guess. It
So-
leaves a lot to mystery.
it honestly,
We do kind of like
the
mysterious.
wonderment is the best part. It's like War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells. If people had seen what he was talking about, they wouldn't have believed, but their imagination went wild when they
It fills
thought
in
there
the
were
dots
aliens
for
on
'em.
Earth. It's like, oh my God. Same thing. Your mind can do awesome stuff when you don't actually have too much proof.
Look at this feedback, people. See where things can go when you just ask questions.
There is something too when you see, like, sometimes you watch an interview, you perceive it differently than if you just listen to it. Have you
Yeah,
ever seen
podcasts
that?
are really cool. It's
I don't
kind
like
of
seeing pictures of my radio or podcast personalities. I just don't. I'd like to read it like a novel where you're imagining the characters in your head. And it kind of like almost, I don't know, pollutes your listening of it because you.
It does. You do kind of judge by looking at people more
it's
than
just
if you
inevitable.
just hear their
Even though we
voice.
judge very less,
You
I'd
still
say
judge
we
by
would, but
listening to
still-
people's voice too.
Yeah, but that's the best way you can fit it in if you like them.
but
You
people are less harsh about it.
put them into that character.
That's why you always trip out when you see like the radio personalities of your town, and you're like, "Oh my God, look at this guy!" You know, they sound like amazing. You know,
What do you
Most
think
radio
people think you look like, Chris?
I don't fucking know, man. I have no clue. Like,
Do you want to describe him for the guest since you?
Yeah.
he
What
got
d- what
yeah,
would
he
you
got some
think I
makeup
look
in Reno.
like?
He was about to be
I
Stahlman.
don't even know how to describe you other than just saying like if you have a beard and what your hair looks like.
yeah, I usually don't have a beard, but I actually have one right now, which is trips people out, sort of.
You walked right by me at the Blue Lamp.
Yeah,
I was like,
he's like, "Who is
triple
this?
take.
Kenny Loggins?"
Is it Messina? No, I was like, he's tall, but that ain't that.
I know.
That
I didn't
ain't
walk
him.
right. I did walk right by you because I didn't see you
literally
either.
hit my shoulder, and I was like, that ain't him.
I think I walked up to you and it's like, "Hey," and you're like, "Who the fuck?" You're like,
I think it's a good premise though, for especially listening to jams for people to not to have a blank slate kind of too. Because if you're seeing the people, you might think, oh, it's going to sound like this, right? Or
Yeah.
like the headshots of the actor. I think it almost does
that's the
lend
mystery.
to
for
a
sure.
better ear of listening to it with no pretenses and just seeing where it goes.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at something, it definitely takes away from the auditory experience or
Yeah.
whatever in the ear. You know? I don't
So
know.
maybe there's something to that. What about you, Tony? Is there any?
If
would
you were-
what would you ask us?
Yeah, exactly. What would you ask you?
It's really hard to.
Any questions
It's
you want
very-
answered?
I don't know. You know.
He kind of created it, so it's like it's hard to ask questions about. I don't know. Hypothetically, maybe you can.
Yeah, we're speaking hypothetically here.
something.
I guess I might wonder why I create it, but that I guess that's I still
That's
wonder
pretty
that in a way.
obvious.
We've given that briefing of how it came to be. I think. In
Yeah.
our conversations
It's-
that led to it.
I think it's just like it's cool to document, you know.
And once we started
Yeah,
doing it, like
documenting.
there's this momentum going to keep going with it.
Mhm.
You know, like we've created a seed, and it's like, well, we can keep it going. We have the
true.
stuff to do
See
it.
how large the tree can grow.
How large is the tree right now?
Do you have a?
26 branches.
That's true.
Do you actually have a time
And a
where you
trunk.
try to have one a month, or do you actually think about that? Just happens.
I have
We
a
did.
yeah, I do. I have a megabyte limit a month, and I was trying to use that more, but now I'm trying to just do one episode a month. But still, I'm falling behind. I'm missing a few here and there.
It's a big commitment, man.
It takes a good amount of work to make these things, and get everybody here and do it.
Tony
But-
actually like takes the time to mix all this shit, and like
Mhm.
it's not just straight up record and play back, you know. And he kind of, I don't know. I guess you kind of pick and choose like what is worth keeping, right?
Well, this the recording runs all night basically for the ease of it, and then I edit out time, so it's not like you don't have to sit and wait for us to walk from whatever
Right.
the room.
But even
Like-
like the music, do you cut
That
it
would be
down at all?
riveting.
Not necessarily all the time.
Sometimes I
pretty
do.
much just the mix.
I do try to cut these things down a little bit
phase
in
it in
time,
very nicely
Um,
from one track into the other.
and sometimes I cut more out than others, but I try not to make these things 3 hours. But I have done it before.
What's your like mixing time on this shit? Like,
It could take. I don't know. It takes a long time. Each one, I'm kind of learning new things about mixing, and
that's
know.
cool, man. Because you can fit this all in, and you have a family and all that, you know. I mean, it's a lot of work.
yeah.
So-
But it's cool. It's fun. It's
That's cool,
at
man.
least when I'm playing music now, at least once in a while, I'm like recording something, and I can listen back later.
I don't know, man. I
So,
think it's
rewarding.
great.
Cool.
I do too. When I first heard
Chronicling.
about it, I thought this is like a cultural. It's important to this region. I mean, you're bringing in players that
Yeah, the local.
Yeah, it's really
talent.
cool. People are gonna look at this eventually and say, "What a cool asset," you know.
Yeah, man.
We have created a pretty good network and connection of local musicians that
Yeah.
have kind of gathered here.
That's cool, man. And then people get to know, like, from playing this podcast, I've been able to connect with other musicians and kind of start, making music with them on a more regular basis. So that's pretty
I think it's seeding other projects.
pretty rad,
And ideas.
I don't know. It's cool, man. Good job, guys.
Thanks again for the invite. It was
Well, yeah,
killer.
man. Thanks for coming.
That's
And
fun.
yeah, I mean, Dustin too. He's kind of in a way the guy that keeps me going. Like what are you doing this week? Let's try to do something.
Right.
It's
We always believed that.
well,
we
he
chronicle
leaves me
this.
to do most of the work.
The
But
mixing.
Dude
Where I
likes to
might-
jam.
he's like,
But he enjoys it as the project too, where I think, we listen to it right back after, and we always kind of wanted it, even recording on cassette tape. I'd be happy with mixing it in good, but putting it out there how it is. That was part of our experiment here on just like how brave can you be to jam. It takes bravery to jam, and then to record a jam, and then to record yourself talking, saying stupid shit, and like, but we all never wanted to censor it. So, I mean, I know Tony, makes kick-ass mixes now that are stellar,
Right.
But I think it stands almost alone to hear it with just raw. I've believed in this project from day one. Just recording artists, musicians, friends, talking about the crazy stuff we talk about while we warm up, getting to know each other, preparing to jam, and just kind of.
Yeah, it's rad. I mean, as musicians, we spend so much time and money trying to do this thing we love, and it often doesn't pay off financially. But God, it's worth talking about. It's part of our lives, and it's a really cool thing to actually hear it on record and hear other musicians doing it. Because a lot of us are alone in our garages playing tunes by ourselves, and it's like rad. There's people getting together and doing this. I
Yeah,
dig it.
you don't hear much jamming. Like people meet, like the bands start, and it comes out of jams or whatever, and you never kind of hear that beginning thing. It never
Yeah,
gets
it's
like
true.
The
It's
recorded.
very
true.
first meeting, that like fleeting moment that you can almost never recreate.
Yeah, in fact, you
where
watch a
you don't know each
documentary
other.
of some band, and that's the secret footage. It's like, if that even gets leaked, that never
Yeah, or
gets
if it
seen.
was even recorded.
At the
Right.
very least, we just wanted this to be a fly on the wall through whatever ideas we were thinking about, and where we were in our lives with that, and whatever music we were playing through, just to get it finally down on paper, so then you can get it out of your head too, and move on to the next thing, and like just chronicle where we're going, and it's been so much more, I think, with creating a network and friendships. And I think my question as a viewer or listener would be, what are we ever gonna release any albums or play live? And that's been a question I think that we're asking right now to
Like in
ourselves.
front of an audience, I
Yeah,
guess.
to take it
right?
on
I've
take the show on
considered
the
it, yeah.
road. We've had a
We're kind of
Will there be
like,
like a mystery
maybe,
school
I
show you
guess.
go to, and what do we do? Are we playing rehearsed material?
you just walk up there and just whatever comes out, comes out.
Yeah, will
There's
we ever
just
make songs, an
There should
album?
be a giant sheet on the stage, and you just see silhouettes of you guys.
Will we ever have a greatest hits of jams, a greatest hits of talking bits?
I don't know. That would be cool. So I think there's some pretty good material in the talking.
Exactly.
Remember when I talked about the security guard? That was so awesome.
No, man, like there's some funny shit that happens.
That one time.
made me laugh, like listening back on like some of the
There's some
other
great-
ones.
Great stories. That was the thing, because our first one we did, we just we didn't know what was gonna happen. It was
That would be
crazy.
funny to hear.
And when we listened to it the next time we were there, we were laughing at it, going like, "What
Oh,
the hell
yeah.
is this? Like, what is?"
It's
It ended up being
especially
funny.
embarrassing listening to the first episodes
Oh, gosh.
now.
That I gotta
come a
hear.
long
I'm gonna
way.
listen to episode 1 tomorrow. I think.
When people,
that was when we were more comedy than.
I'll tell somebody about this, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I started at the beginning." I'm thinking, "Oh, why'd you start at the beginning? Start at the end and work backwards."
Yeah.
So
That's
explain
true.
why though. It was just cringeful. Like
The beginning.
Well, we didn't have real.
What the hell
players
did
with
you guys
us.
even say? Like,
Well,
hey,
We told some funny
Forget
stories.
what
Yeah, it
we
was
said.
weird. We didn't know
Do you know
what
what
to say.
equipment we even had? The beginning, we were recording stuff on iPhones.
Yeah.
oh Jesus Christ!
every
Seriously.
cymbal splash is just
Man,
No,
you've
we
come a
had
long
mixers.
way, dude.
The first episodes were recorded on cassette tapes, like a 4-track cassette tape. The music we mixed like we'd be like drums 1 track, bass 1 track, guitar 1 track. You know.
Wow.
And then when we talk out here, it'd be 4 mics in a little mixer into an iPhone like interface.
Gotcha.
And then by episode 3, we had upgraded to a reel-to-reel.
Wow.
So now,
Hey, it was analog still. That's
so now we're like getting
Sourcing
that.
tape at estate sales.
We're still doing our. Oh, I think we're still doing the
God, I hope
audio.
you told good stories that day.
We're still doing the audio.
It was
on
the
thing.
best sounding one.
That's when I was talking about having like the Morgan Freeman tone in my voice from the tape. Yeah. Listen
Nice.
back, you'll notice it.
Was there some
We
flurb
brought out the
or
gold
what?
in our
Is there tape flurb in it?
Oh man, hey,
And we ended up digital by episode 6. Maybe episode 10, we were going 16
That's
channels.
fast, man. That's fast evolution right there.
Yeah,
I
you get to
think.
hear like the evolution of like
Evolved
audio
pretty quick.
recording.
I actually think it's insane that you went reel to reel at any point.
Guys, I love that you did that. That's the
amazing.
best.
It's amazing.
we had lots of talks on.
How did you find the reel to reel,
magnetism
dude?
and,
If you listen-
capturing, like, yeah.
the
Is that a
reel-to-reel
Craigslist
essence.
score?
Thick air, man.
It's a weird story how I even found the reel to reel.
Oh, yeah.
I was out shopping like at record stores with Dean Del Rey and Nick Youssef, like the comedians. And,
Wow.
And then we were at a record store and they had that reel to reel, and I got it that day.
Damn. The Dean Del Rey, was he impressed with that purchase or anything, or no?
I don't know.
You're just like, I'm
Are
getting a fucking.
you ever with
Leave a
somebody like,
Rochambeau
oh,
over
this is
it.
an
'Cause,
impressive
like-
purchase?
No, when your record. When your
I gotta
record.
tell Chris about this.
No, when your record. When you're buying records, you usually.
Finding that haystack.
You usually share like, whoa, I got like a fucking Ted Nugent, or like I got like, or like I got this badass record. Tony comes on with the reel to reel. It's like, fuck. I think that's kind of cool.
Like, damn.
Like I would have been like, fuck, where'd you find that? You know, like I all I got was like, you know, it's Lionel Richie record or something.
They got Lionel Richie on reel to reel.
I got party all the time. You got a reel to reel.
I'm
yeah,
gonna start telling people when they purchase something how awesome it is.
that's a killer purchase.
Dude, you should.
Compliment their purchase. It will bring more happiness to the
Dude,
world.
when you're just in line with somebody. At the checkout.
Good
like,
choice on your food
Hey.
purchases tonight.
You got the good orange juice.
Way to invest in yourself. Hey. So like this would be one of our greatest episodes of the greatest hits of the shit.
Hey man, killer kitchenware you're getting there.
There you go. Hey.
Look at that whisk.
You're getting the high end one with the rubber handle.
Love that.
Or
Is
you
that
could
for
go
you or a gift?
like the total opposite end of the spectrum. Like you see like a total hoity-toity person up there and be like, excuse me, sir, like, where do you keep the milk? You know? And just totally break them down to the other side of like making them think like they work there, like Walmart or something. Right?
I don't.
You can either compliment somebody on their purchase, or you can say like you can treat them like they work there. You know,
well,
be like,
that's not the-
sir, we're out of milk. Can you please go refill the milk?
Well, this is a better option. Is also coming down on their purchase. Like, oh, you're getting those granola bars.
Oh.
Man, you buying that shit?
How do you eat those?
Wow.
I hope you don't give that to your kid.
Wow. Yeah. Father of the year, huh?
Were they out of all the good food?
Oh man.
What, me? I'm just standing here. I don't shop here.
Well then,
Reel to reel to this.
we've
huh?
covered a lot of ground here tonight.
We've answered the
I think we
viewer
were talking
poll,
about
the listener poll.
Libraries and now
Yeah,
reel to reels and
They do
grocery
exist.
store shopping.
Practical knowledge, folks. Well, we learned something tonight.
Yeah, well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming out,
Thanks,
Brandon,
guys.
Chris.
Thank
It's
you.
cool.
Yeah, man.
Tony, it's been real.
If you're still
Always
listening,
fun.
think about your purchase.
Yeah.
Make good choices.
Yeah.
Get complimented.
Later, guys.
Later.
Nah.
Oh, man.
Did he think that was a good purchase?
No, man.
He was impressed.
I would be like, I'm just curious what he thought, because he's like into the old school, you know?
That was great.
I always pictured him like fighting over it.
Like, where the fuck
That's
did
not
you
first,
get that?
Did you see that, man? I was just in that back room there.
I thought he might enjoy that. I don't know.
Yeah. It seems like it's cool, whatever. Oh, dude. Killer purge.
I would have been stoked.